recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wrestling Challenge. I'm Gorilla Monsoon along with
Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Boy, take a look at that piece of work. We've got excitement. We've got action. We got the greatest professional wrestlers in the world coming at you right now.
Hey everybody, this is a special It Was a Thing on TV presents. And you know how this is special? Because I have somebody on this program who's not Mike and who's not Chico. Mystery guest, could you enter and sign in, please?
Oh, I guess that's my cue, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Dane Woychuk. I'm from the vast cornfields of Canada, so that's how special of a guest I am.
Yes. All the way out in Alberta.
Yes,
So,
that is correct.
and the reason why I had you on, Dade, is because I wanted to talk about the wrestling, because it's been a chaotic, first week of 2025 with the wrestling, and I needed somebody to talk to, because Mike, I love Mike, but he's not really that into wrestling. I mean, I tell him all the stuff. I talk about how Dave always overrates matches at the Tokyo Dome and whatever happened on Raw or SmackDown that week or whatever. And Chico's kind of like, he'll watch a Raw on a SmackDown or like a PLE, but it's like he knows some of the people and all that. But
he knows the names. He knows the some of the things. He's probably like. I think there's quite a few people who are like just that do the whole just like when it comes to WWE, they'll do the whole WrestleMania season. So they'll watch the Rumble, they'll watch Elimination Chamber, then they'll watch WrestleMania, and then they'll maybe watch the Raw after Mania, and then it's like, okay, I'm good till next year.
Yeah, that's basically what Chico is. But Dane, I need to mention this. This has been an amazing week. We had the debut of Monday Night Raw on Netflix. We also had New Japan Wrestle Kingdom, and we had Wrestle Dynasty. And also TNA had some changes over in Canada, and AEW also, and also AEW is just, AEW is just being AEW. So
yes.
But I want to start off with New Japan, with Wrestle Kingdom, because I watched Wrestle Kingdom, I watched Wrestle Dynasty. I enjoyed Wrestle Kingdom, but I actually did enjoy Wrestle Dynasty a lot more.
Yeah.
It was a really fun show.
Mm-hmm.
It was a co-promotion of, let's get it real quick on the wiki, New Japan, along with Stardom, AEW, ROH, and CMLL. It featured the return of Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
Against Gabe Kidd, which was a hell of a match.
Oh yeah, I think that was definitely the highlight of the whole weekend for me there, was seeing good old Kenny back, and of course as well with him being a Canadian boy too, so it's like a support by Canadians out there.
And he was gone a long time. He had what was it, some kind of stomach disease or something?
Diverticulitis, I think, was what he had. I think, and that's a real serious thing, because I think that even took out Brock Lesnar for a while there too, from what I heard.
Yes, that was when he was in UFC, I remember.
Yes.
But yeah, it was a hell of a card. I think I like the match between Mercedes and Mina Shirakawa. Mina Shirakawa was one of my favorites over the last couple of years. I like her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but, I've started to slowly get kind of caught up with some of the Japanese women's division, especially now when you got people like really are making the crossover from Stardom into now WWE and NXT. So you got to start paying attention to some of these names over there too, because you have no idea when they're going to come on the radar of either now, I guess, Hunter, or I guess now William Regal's back there, probably acting as as an international scout now over there in WWE and TKO and NXT, and then whoever Tony decides to bring in as his next new toy to play with in AEW. So yeah, you got to kind of pay attention to what's going on in Japan, because that's what's going to happen. Is just people are wanting more, because also there too. Like from what I understand, Japan is in a downward trend right now of pro wrestling over there, and whereas over here in North America, it seems to be picking up steam, or especially more so like with WWE. AEW is, I don't know, maybe to move into smaller venues where they can actually maybe get and maybe find a way to mic up the crowds, make it seem more exciting. That would help. And then TNA is just that persistent little bug that just won't go away. Like I remember back like in the early 2000s, like when it started up, this isn't only going to last only like 5 years, and here we are in 2025, and
they're still here.
They're still here, yeah, and still have the TNA name, and even after trying the whole, just going with Impact, and then Jeff Jarrett trying to go in and see how he can swindle with the Global Force name, and then back to Impact. Now we're back to TNA. So it's
hey, never forget Global Force Gold.
I'm actually surprised that old Double J hasn't tried to get Tony Khan to start up like Global Force NFTs or something yet.
No, he's too busy being the last outlaw, Dane.
Oh. Wasn't that Taker's thing when he did his whole thing there with Triple H and HBK there when they were doing a whole thing there with
maybe I don't remember. Maybe it was with the Johnny Cash song "Ain't No Grave" when that was
playing.
Ain't
No Grave, and then we had the whole Metallica "Memory Remains," and that was the Hell in a Cell match. And, it
was the end of an era. Yeah, end of an era, my ass. But I did like the shot of them, like all three of them walking after that WrestleMania 28 Hell in a Cell, which was like the only, that Cena Rock, the only like good things in that show. Everything else was like whatever.
Yeah, but that was the manifestation of the yes chant in WWE, though. Or Daniel Bryan getting squashed in 6 seconds by Sheamus in the opening match.
Well, I would argue, though, at the time, at the time it made sense for his character to lose in 6 seconds. Like, I was like, what are these people all pissed about? It's like, if you want to say, oh, well, it culminated 2 years later in that amazing WrestleMania 30, where the triple threat and everything, but.
Yes.
Yeah. But we're not here to talk about WrestleMania 30. We're here to talk about something that happened in Wrestle Dynasty, which I was going to get to. So Chris Charlton, the New Japan World English color commentator, got suspended by New Japan for comments he made during the show.
Called out poor little Tony Khan for being a money mark.
Which I'm going to say, no lies detected.
Yeah, no lies detected there, but I mean, you're kind of promoting this thing with him. You got to have a little bit of decorum, but
I would just say this. If I were somebody in New Japan and AEW, I would just say, let's make this a money angle. Let's just roll with this and make it like this big angle about how New Japan could be like, these American invaders are stealing our talent and we're going to fight against them or something. Like, you could make this like a whole big thing going into Forbidden Door.
Have you seen AEW's track record lately with
dropping the ball on everything?
Yeah, because I mean, we had the whole Brawl Out, showing the footage of Brawl Out, and then
freaking the Bucks attacking Tony.
Bucks, yeah.
And Tony looking
wearing
like a
the
complete douche
wearing the
at the
ridiculous cervical brace on during the NFL draft, trying to get attention for his company, and then he had to go and screw that up by saying WWE is the Harvey Weinstein of, and that, which is a bit of an overreach. I'd say Vince is, but not WWE as a whole.
Yeah, because when I think Pepsi, I think a sexual predator. Yeah. Okay, Tony. I don't. AEW just frustrates me sometimes. I was watching because AEW, as we should note, in the States with their new TV deal, they're now streaming Collision and Dynamite on Max, and they have an small archive up of some of the shows going back from October and the 2019 Dynamites, and they have the 2019 pay-per-views up right now. So I decided to watch Double or Nothing 2019. Like the first thing I did on like New Year's Day.
Yeah.
And it is just, when AEW started, it was like, this is going to be like, oh, we finally have something to compete against WWE. It's like, you had like the Elite coming off, you had the Young Bucks, you had Kenny, you had Cody, and you felt like this was the start of something special. Going back from All In and coming to Double or Nothing, it was just, you felt like maybe this would be the start of something big. And then you had Dynamite starting that fall. And I think me and Mike make a joke about Dynamite because I think in episode 1 of it was a thing we made a joke about how, they stole Jimmy Walker's catchphrase from Good Times. Yeah. And they decided to make a show out of that name. But then, I don't know what happened.
It's, you know what, I think it's a combination of things. I think much like even with WWE having some downtime there too, like I think COVID really screwed them up too in terms of forcing them to do the empty arena shows or limited, limited stuff. And then for whatever reason, we had Cody deciding, you know what, I think I want to go back and see about finishing my story with Vince and the WWE, and then they signed Punk, and then we all know how that ended up, and it's been downhill since then for them in terms of, and just pushing the wrong people, it seems, or not really building anything new. And then, as much as I like to support my Canadian people, and I've just really soured on Chris Jericho becoming the thing he always hated in WCW, and that was just becoming the old timer who's going to leech off all the young guys' heat and trying to keep himself relevant.
Well, there's a lot of things to be disappointed about in Chris Jericho.
I can go on about some other stuff too, but yeah.
But I mean, yeah, the pandemic and the Daily's Place shows during the pandemic. But when you got to 2021, when they got Punk and they got like all like the people from NXT from when Vince came back and did NXT 2.0, they got the Adam Coles of the like, you felt like, okay, maybe there's something happening here. But then I think when Cody left, that was the shocker, because it was like, you never thought in a million years Cody would ever go back.
Well, yeah, especially, because then, I saw all the jokes online. Oh, yeah, they're going to make him Stardust again, and they're going to do this and that. And then, you see him back at his first Mania back there, that he's got adrenaline in my soul. Something, Cody Rhodes. He's got the full entrance. He's got the neck tattoo. And
I'll tell you a story, Dane. I was coming back home from a trip. I went on a cruise around the time of WrestleMania 38. I was going to come home, but the problem was there was air traffic in Florida, got messed up. So I had to stay at like my uncle's place for the weekend until everything cleared up. So I was watching WrestleMania on my phone on Peacock. And I will say, I was all alone in my uncle's house. And when Steph's going, "Who's it gonna be, Vin Man?" And then you hear the music, and then you hear, "Wrestling has more than one royal family." I was fucking going absolutely nuts, where everyone's looking at me like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" Oh, but that was so fantastic. And and now if AEW, it's just, I don't know what they're doing with this whole Moxley thing and the storyline right now.
Yeah,
I don't know who's going to unseat him. And also, I'm going to be quite clear. This Tony Storm angle, I don't know what the deal is with this. I don't know where they're going with this, but it's like, does somebody in AEW not have an iPad to show Tony Storm, this is what you've done for the last 3 years? Are they just trying to be nice to her and just go along with the fact that she doesn't know that the last 3 years have happened?
You know what? I'm starting to think that's like, this is almost, I think, almost going to be like almost 3 faces of Foley type thing. Like, we're going to have timeless Tony Storm being some kind of alternate personality of Tony, and now we got this whole young up and comer Tony Storm now that's just totally oblivious. But yeah, it's, you know what, at times, like even now with Adam Copeland's name change to Cope, it's like, you know what, maybe Vince had a point micromanaging everyone and everything in WWE. There was a method to his madness.
Yeah, Tony Khan does not need to be involved in every aspect. You can have some people like do this, you can do that. You could do like just the main event, and you could have them, everybody else organize it.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
And it's not like he has a plethora of inexperience. He's got, I mean, before, like, he had Arn Anderson, he had William Regal there, he has got Jake Roberts probably still skulking around there, and
Dean's still there.
Yeah, you got people who have experience outside of that can probably manage things, and then also the big thing is also to kick out Dave Meltzer too, because I don't know how much of Tony's booking is trying to appease Dave or how much influence Dave has on Tony's ideas. It's like both of them need to be kind of booted out of influence in AEW, because it's obvious that whatever Dave Meltzer thinks these days, I mean, I don't know, maybe there's a theory that he's maybe getting secondhand CTE from hanging around with the Bucks and whatever, and
yeah. Well, let me just say this. I don't think every Will Ospreay match is 5 stars. Let's just get that out of the way. It's like, I think Will Ospreay is like his new Tokyo Dome. It's like any match with Will Ospreay is going to automatically be 5 stars from Dave.
Oh yes, that's I know. Oh, that's his new flavor of the month, I guess. Because I mean, beforehand, I don't think the Young Bucks are probably the greatest tag team of the last 10 years, but even with tag teams being kind of a lost art form as it is.
You know, I think that Bucks have been a good tag team. I would agree with you. I don't say they were the best, but I was actually, because, you know, I've been doing a chrono watch for the last like 6 months of 2010 TNA.
Yeah.
And I was on No Surrender 2010, and they were wrestling the Motor City Machine Guns. Remember when they were Generation Me in TNA?
Oh yes, I do remember that. I think I have to send you a clip later, since I think 2010 was also the beginning of the brief Monday Night Wars version of TNA, when you had Hogan and Bischoff there, and you had crazy stuff like Orlando Jordan jizzing himself over the Big Brick guy.
And do you remember? Okay, do you remember during the TNA Monday Night War where they had like the whole briefcase thing with the knockouts?
Oh yes, that was
And then,
yes.
so Daphne had a briefcase, and her
Yeah.
briefcase was to do a striptease.
Yeah.
And Jeremy Borash was like, Daphne, you agreed to this. You must do a striptease in the middle of the ring. And she went on to do the most unsexiest striptease you
It
will ever
was
see in your life.
Yeah.
God
Oh,
rest
yes,
your
that's
soul, Daphne. But
yeah. God bless her. God may she rest in power now.
oh, but that was just so. Oh. Well,
Yeah.
enough about 2010 TNA. We got to talk about 2025 TNA.
Yes, we do have to talk about that because starting this week, I'm going to start watching it again because now it's on an easier network for me to watch here in Canada.
Yeah, it's on a Rogers Sportsnet 360.
Yeah, they pretty much took over as soon as the WWE deal ended with Rogers, and they switched everything over to Netflix. TNA kind of came in and like, hey, we'll take that spot. So yeah, so Thursdays we got Impact Now live, and then Fridays now they got TNA Classics, and as well as a repeat of Impact in where SmackDown and main event used to be for WWE, and then I don't know what's since the Max deal there with AEW is going on. I'll have to see because I know TSN Plus carries Collision, but I don't know if they have how much of a back catalog they have anything. But that's an extra $10 as I think to get TSN Plus, and it's like not really worth it. It's more worth it right now to keep my Netflix because now everything here for WWE is on Netflix. So we got Raw, SmackDown, and NXT on. We got the entire WWE PLE pay-per-view back catalog. They got pretty much every Raw, SmackDown, and NXT episode from 2022 to present. Raw and SmackDown, they have different years right now, based random numbers of years from 93 to about 2001. So there's a big swath missing from. So if you really want me to do like a ruthless aggression and cover chronological watch, that's going to be out of the question for now.
Unless you have actually no, you couldn't here in the States because I think the whole catalog is technically now on Netflix. I think they removed it all from Peacock.
Yeah.
So that sucks.
Yeah, and I was even kind of disappointed with like they got with NXT, they've got all the original like the takeovers, but they don't have any of the other episodes yet from that or like from the weird reality competition eras.
Oh, the Double Dare era of NXT.
Yeah, the Double Dare. Yeah.
You know what I want to see, and I will check Peacock to see if it's there. Do you remember the Gold Dust wedding with Osaka?
Yes, I remember. Yeah, I remember. Yes, I remember that one.
That was so great.
And I think that was my biggest standout, and I think was that the one that also had CM Punk on color commentary for that too, or because the one that Punk was on commentary, the Goldust Oksana wedding, and then I think it was the final of the second one where we had the rebirth to the genesis of Michael McGillicuddy, whatever the hell that weird promo. Michael McGillicuddy cut.
Listen, no disrespect to Joe Henning / Curtis Axel, but what the hell were they thinking naming him Michael McGillicuddy? That is the dumbest name I ever heard for anybody. Yeah. If they pitched me that name, or if somebody said, what do you think of this name? I'd say, that is the stupidest fucking name I've ever heard in my life.
Unless they were going to go with it, if they were going to get really meta and maybe have him like be some kind of love child of Kurt Hennig and Bill McGillicuddy, I don't know. That's the only logical reason I could think about that name.
That would actually be making a lot of sense if, like, Beulah
Yes.
became his mother, even though it may technically make no sense. Because how old would Beulah be to technically conceive him? Like 8?
Yeah, that's you would have to say. Yeah, that's
Yeah, then that would be so creepy.
yeah.
But never forget Beulah's box.
Yes.
That great segment that gave us Steve Austin talking about Monday Night Quill.
Monday Night Quill, where the big boys play with each other.
Oh my god. Okay, so TNA does have a pay-per-view coming up. It's Genesis 2025, and I believe that's going to be in Texas, if I'm not mistaken. So let me look.
Yes.
TNA Genesis 2025 on the Google. Yes, it'll be in Garland, Texas. I don't know where that is in Texas.
I would have to Google that.
It's in Dallas County. It's a suburb of Dallas.
Hmm.
Okay. And the main event of that show is going to be Nick Nemeth, the former Dolph Ziggler, defending the TNA World title against the man we all believe in, Joe Hendry.
Yes. And I think this has got to be kind of a make it or break it time for Joe. I think it's either they're going to put the belt on him. It's either now or never. Because I think either is depending too on how much of a workaround deal they have with WWE and NXT. Like I could see Joe Hendry being a mystery participant in this year's Rumble as well. So
I can see it.
It'd be interesting to have like the TNA World Champion in there.
That would be awesome.
I mean, we've already seen the Knockouts champions be in there. We've had Mickey James, and then we had Jordan Grace last year, and well, yeah, that'd be
awesome. But I gotta think Jordan Grace she's got to be on her way to WWE soon.
Yeah, I'm thinking that there too because it's pretty much what else does she have to do in TNA as it is? Because
and she's done everything in TNA. She's done everything she's had to do. So it's like,
yeah,
she went to WWE. I don't think that TNA audience would have a problem with that because she's probably like maybe the most accomplished woman wrestler they've ever had there.
Yeah,
it's not saying much.
saying much, but yeah.
And
then that's coming back going back when actually the Knockouts division there was the highest rated segments on TNA.
And you had your Gail Kims, your awesome.
You had your Gail Kims and awesome Kongs and
your Angelina Loves.
Yep. Get the beautiful people in there and
now hold on a second. Now I mentioned I've been watching 2010 TNA. Now, Dane, can you please tell me what the hell was Taz saying whenever he said "let the pigeons loose" during the beautiful people's entrance whenever they were entering into the ring? What does that even mean?
You know what?
Is he telling everybody to jerk off during this?
I'm guessing. You know what? That's him gooning, I guess, as the new millennial kids will say. And yeah, that's.
I can only imagine a 9-year-old Hook asking his mom, "Mom, what does Daddy's mean when he says let the pigeons loose?"
Yes, Hook. Yeah, speaking of another person that probably would benefit as well from leaving AEW into the more responsible trainings in NXT and WWE. When you look at Pillman Jr. here, like, got kind of a questionable name, but then once you hear kind of the logic behind it, like the Lexus part there for his dad's sister, and the King part, I think, is his stepdad there. But he's going from the Varsity Blondes to now Heritage Cup champion, that should be a sign that that's if you're serious about the business, you may have to go cut your teeth in NXT or WWE for a bit. If you just want to carry on and just collect money, stay in AEW, I guess.
Let's get into now finally WWE. So we had the first Raw on Netflix. And
yes.
I gotta say, Dane, I've been so used for 30 years watching either USA or for 5 years in the 2000s on TNN/Spike. But it's so weird to go now to a website. I gotta type netflix.com and then watch it on my computer. I know I have a Fire TV and I have a phone. And I could have watched it on either of those. But I was like, yeah, I'm just sitting in front of my computer. I might as well watch it on my computer.
I had to I connected my laptop to my TV through an HDMI, and that was, but yeah, I understand there too. Like even here, like for almost for us here in Canada, like we didn't get to Raw until about 95, I think, 95, 96, when it was on the new VR, which was like a little superstation in Ontario, and then TSN. And then over onto, I think it was still the Score at the time, and then which became Sportsnet 360. And yeah, it even losing SmackDown. Like SmackDown has been on some version of like actually even the Score when it was known as Headline Sports, and even at the time when WWE went public there with their initial IPO there, they actually bought a small stake in Headline Sports, so that's why actually a lot of the programming was on there too for a bit. And even like they even did a lot of catering stuff too. Like they had like almost like a half hour, kind of like what we're doing here, like talking about what happened this week on whatever. And that's where like people like almost like Mauro Ranallo and Jackie Redmond and Renee, I don't know, whatever her last name she is now using.
Paquette, like the former MLBer Craig Paquette.
Yes.
Never thought you'd hear a Craig Paquette reference on the It Was a Thing on TV podcast theme. When the show started, I was kind of excited because they were at the Intuit Dome where the Clippers play. It's a brand new arena, and I know the Intuit Dome is like so big and massive. They got this massive video screen that goes all around the building, which it was very impressive.
Yes, it was visually very impressive looking. Like the building, like I kind of want to watch. If I ever see a basketball game there, I definitely want to see a basketball game there just to see kind of how the kind of differentiates between the two, and probably would even be great for like some other live concert as well too.
But when the show started, I was getting ready, but then it took like literally a half hour before we got to the first match, which was Roman and Solo battling for the freaking necklace.
The Ulafala.
Whatever, it's a necklace.
It's a necklace, yes. But you know what? The necklace and the friendship bracelet there that CM Punk had that some fan made that had AJ and Larry's name on it. Those are probably the two most over things of 2024.
Yes.
And even an honorable mention to Larry as well too, because that, I mean,
hey,
I'm a sucker for dogs.
Hey,
time I saw Larry, anytime Larry was mentioned, every time Cody brought Pharaoh out, I was like, oh, doggos.
Hey, Larry got his own action figure from Zombie Sailor Toys with the CM Punk figure. So that's how over Larry is.
Yes.
But I will say that, man, Solo Sikoa, he never wins a damn match, does he?
No, he does. Well, yeah, it's one-on-one. No, I'm kind of surprised that, and I'm like thinking, this is the guy who beat John Cena in Saudi Arabia.
I gotta think at some point, like Jacob Fatu is gonna be the leader of this Bloodline TV version. Because I'm sorry, Jacob Fatu's like, this guy's like amazing.
Well, yeah, he's. If we get talking about SmackDown, like even just watching him on SmackDown this week too, it was like, oh my god, like even I thinking right now too, like I kind of like the idea now with him and Tama Tonga just being nomadic mercenaries, just going wherever and wrecking stuff up.
Who's the other guy in the Bloodline that got hurt in the Survivor Series?
The infamous Tonga Loa.
Okay. Yeah, that's how bad it was for the Bloodline. They had two of their guys get injured in the War Games match.
Yeah. And one of them could have been kept getting his push there with Bronson. Like I loved how they were pushing him like as a new I'm going back, like that's one of my earliest memories back in my early fandom days, like 90, like going back to 1990, 91, when he had like Earthquake there.
Oh. Dane, here's how old I am. I remember when Earthquake debuted on Superstars.
Yeah.
I remember it like it was yesterday when he just literally squashed Warrior.
What are you trying to load this competition?
That's a good question.
Where?
Everybody's pointing to that guy out there. All right, come on, big man.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Dave, you. Come on.
My hometown favorite. Look at him.
Yes, I can't.
Hey, Jesse, take a look at the size of this
that's
man.
impressive, Dino Bravo. That's
Does look pretty
Come
big,
on
but
down.
I gotta see him when he gets
This
in
man
the
has
ring,
got some
McMahon.
real
Then we'll get a
solid
little more
girth to him, Jimmy
perspective.
Hart. Do I dare ask how much you weigh?
460 pounds.
Wait a minute. 460 pounds.
Trouble.
Yes, sir.
All right, Jimmy Hart, Dino Bravo, he's all yours. We're going to see if he can do a push-up. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't believe it.
Well, I'm impressed.
All right, he is up there. Okay, Ultimate Warrior. What? What's this?
You just gave it. Wait a minute.
Whoa!
Bravo! Falling through an elbow.
See, I told you, McMahon, that he couldn't push up that Big John character.
He didn't have a chance.
Yes, he did. He set his weight on him and the Warrior collapsed.
Look at this. Bravo! And this mountain of a man down across the chest.
Hey, this guy learned how to wrestle pretty quick.
Yeah, no kidding. I smell a rat.
I like my big fat men that are also like surprisingly agile. Like when we got Netflix here, the second thing I watched, because I watched last year's Royal Rumble because I wanted to see just how, I knew how it all went and down and stuff, but I wanted to watch Bailey win it. I wanted to see how the men's Rumble went down too. So, and then we watched the 92 Royal Rumble, which is probably my favorite Rumble. And we had the natural disasters versus the LOD, and
Oh, that's not a good match. Natural Disasters LOD.
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather watch that than the Bushwhackers against the Beverly Brothers on that show, which is like 20 minutes.
I think the only thing about that match that made it tolerable was Bobby Heenan's commentary just rattling off the insults at Jameson. But then you also had the nice opening with the Orient Express and the not quite new foundation of Owen and Jim the Anvil there. Jim not wearing a top anymore, and Owen just...
That era of Owen was great.
Yes.
Especially when it was like high energy and him and Coco were wearing the pants.
Yes.
I think that there was this random website from like some NBC station or whatever talking about 90s fashion, and one of the pictures they used was that picture of Owen and Coco with the high energy get up.
And then and Frankie as well there too, just sitting on Coco's arm and
Yeah.
flapping
his wings, probably taking a crap too. Crapping all over the ring, probably, I guess. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we talked about Roman. Okay, now I want to talk about Dwayne. Dane.
Do we have to talk about Dwayne?
Yeah, we have to talk about Dwayne. Because we were expecting, okay, I guess he's going to face either Cody or Roman.
Yeah.
I guess he's going to face either of those two at Mania this year.
Yeah.
And it's like, nope, he's best buds with both of them now.
Best buds about, yes. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Cody stuff really kind of threw me off because, I mean, here you are last year, you're whipping him in the rain, telling him not to fuck with the final boss, and you're like basically mocking Mama Rhodes. Look what I'm doing to your little boy, Mama Rhodes. And like, yeah, we'll share some tequila afterwards now.
You know what? I know what it was that Dwayne gave Cody. It was probably tickets to Moana 2. Because as we all know, Cody was at the Moana 2 premiere. So that must have been it. It's like, look, Cody, I'm sorry about everything. Look, I'll make it up to you. I'll take you, Brandy, and your kid, and you'll all go see Moana 2, and you'll have a great time. And I guess that's what they did.
Yeah. That is what.
But Roman,
you know what? I'm almost there again, because you know what? I'm hoping that this is one big swerve, because I know last year there too, we kind of thought, like, once Cody said, oh, well, you know what? I will take the belt off you, Roman, but not right now. I got someone else, and then here's The Rock, and then, but you know what? We had the whole big backlash from the fans just saying, we want Cody. So you know what? I don't know how much of it was actually how serious they were of doing Rock versus Roman.
I don't think they were serious at all, because I remember when that was going down, Brian Alvarez said, like on the Brian and Vinny show that week, like on the NXT tapings, like they were giving out signs saying we want Cody. So it's like either they were having the plan for Rock and Roman and then they just pivoted after the backlash, or it's like they wanted to do it the whole time.
Yeah.
Which, who knows, because that WrestleMania documentary just didn't give me a clear answer about that.
Yeah, didn't. But you know what? If let's go with the benefit of the doubt that it was the fan backlash that changed the idea around. Do you think Vince would have did that, or he would have been, fuck you guys. I'm putting in the Rock and Roman, and you're gonna like it.
If Vince was still there, no, because I know he came around to Daniel Bryan, so I think he would have had the sense to go like, okay, they want Cody, we'll give him Cody. He did the same thing with Luger and Brett at the Royal Rumble when they did the whole co-winners thing. Brett got a bigger ovation, so it's like, well, let's give it to Brett. So
yeah, and then you also have to think too, because I mean, let's think about this. Cody came back with Vince still in kind of, I don't know if they were in transition of him leaving, or if he was still kind of in. So I don't think he would have come back if he knew that they weren't going to put the belt on him within the next whatever length of time he had with his first contract.
And we'll never know what happened at WrestleMania 39. I always suspected that was Vince, like, being like, goddamn, pal, I can't have the belt on Cody. We want to make the fans pissed. I'm selling my company off, goddamn, pal. We had the Rhea match with Liv for the title, where Rhea won back the title.
Yeah, that was not surprising. And hopefully but now it's where did these two people go now? It's like, I'm guessing if we have Jordan Grace coming in, I mean that's one of my 3 matches is Rhea versus Jordan. But then also we have the rumors of Becky Lynch coming back too. So do we go Rhea, Becky too at Mania? Hopefully with everyone healthy and.
Now here's what I suspect. Now, I heard that they were going to have Becky in that spot where Taker was to make her big return, but I think they wanted to save Becky for the Rumble to get a bigger pop.
Yep.
Which I think would make sense because we'll get to the Rumble or our thoughts about that in a bit when we're done with the show. But
yep,
I really think they're gonna have Becky at the Rumble, and she's probably gonna win.
Yeah, she's my earliest. But I will talk more about that too. But she's one of my top picks to win this year because I have another. Because I think there's also a few other names that are probably coming back too that also would be considered for winning. But we'll talk about that later. But yeah, it's. But now what do we do with Liv Morgan? Like what's.
I don't know either.
I'm assuming also we're getting hopefully the blow off to Priest and Balor this week on Raw with their street fight. So it's like, does the rest of the Judgment Day just fall apart, or does just?
I think they all have to go their separate ways at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, Dom can do whatever. Like, JD McDonough can do whatever. Finn can do whatever. It's like it's long since time for them to break up anyway.
Yeah, it's been.
I mean, the guy that founded it hasn't been in the company for like a year and a half already, for crying out loud. Next match was Jey Uso against Drew McIntyre, and I gotta say, Jey Uso super over. It's like when you see that entrance, it's like, how does this man not scream future WWE champion?
Yes, like he has got to be he's got a major title run coming very soon, and there again, I think kind of too, like much like Joe Hendry, it's got to be sooner than later, I think. But the 2 title holders you have right now with Cody and Gunther, it's like, who do you put up? Obviously, they have their plans probably with Cody as it is, but with Gunther, like it's.
I don't know who they would put him with. I mean, I'm guessing. Okay, here's my thought. Maybe Punk.
Perhaps.
Is he like? I think the reason he came back was to get a WrestleMania main event, and I'm like, well, obviously he's not going to be wrestling for Cody's belt.
No.
So who's he going to be wrestling for?
And they already did probably what could have been a Mania match, which we'll get to later. It's they already did that with Rollins, so it's like, yeah, it's unless of course I did hear the other thing is that Mr. Internet there, Logan Paul might be a challenger for Gunther, and we're gonna have Gunther turn face. I'm like, oh.
Well, listen, Dane. Logan Paul has said he's gonna be 100% focused to wrestling. No more crypto scams. No more shitty Lunchables ripoffs with Mr. Beast and KSI. No more making the thinning 3 even more thinning. No, he's 100% committed to wrestling now.
Oh, God.
Well, I'll say this. Logan's wrestling is more better than watching his brother fight Mike Tyson.
Oh, yes. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, my God.
You know what? As much of a deplorable human being he is outside, he gets it, I think, in terms of being a deplorable human in the ring. Like, you just want to, like, he's just got the old school heel charisma about him that, yeah, you want to see this guy get the living shit kicked out of him.
Oh, speaking of one guy getting the shit kicked out of him to another, you know what we're leading up to now.
Yes, I think so.
So, Dane, do you want to just say it?
Ugh. I think so. I don't know.
Come on, brother, say it.
Come on, brother. Let me tell you something about my American beer, brother. Real Americans drink real American beer. Boo!
Ooh.
That was so satisfying after, the whole.
Everything. But I felt so sad for Jimmy Hart.
Yeah, if I feel sorry. He's got latched onto the Hogan gravy train for X amount of years now already, and there he is trying to wave the American flag, and they're booing him, and of course my favorite meme group on Facebook there, the You Can't See meme, already lot of the made memes of, are they saying boo or boo brother?
Are they
I was
saying
saying
boo or boo earns?
boo
The only thing missing
Mm.
was Hans Ballman. It's like, I was saying boo earns.
I was saying boo. Or Ric Flair. I was saying wooings. Wooings. But yeah, oh fuck no.
Look,
It's
they have to never
what
put him on.
they had, you know what, they almost had to know that they're in a blue state. They know
Yeah.
that Hogan was there stumping for.
Mr. Black.
I mean, even that was another thing that people. Well, how come Taker was voting for?
Mr. Black.
But you know what? Taker didn't really go out to any of the rallies. He just kind of quietly said on his podcast, "Yeah, I'm voting for
Mr. Black.
what of it? It's my yard." But on a brighter note, then we had at least the Invisible Man then came out, I guess,
Oh,
and
Invisible Man challenged, said that he had not won a match in like 2,000 days, which I said, yeah, of course, because you're an invisible man. Of course, you're not going to win.
He was made invisible after the Firefly Funhouse match there from the COVID mania.
And now he can never be not invisible again because Bray's no longer with us. So it's like,
Yes.
Oh, he can't have the Invisible Man be visible again. So it's like,
unless there's something Uncle Howdy can do for that. I don't know. Maybe that's what the lamp is for. And bring him back to being visible.
Okay, what's the point with the Wyatt Six? Like, are they gonna do anything?
I have no. It had such promise, and then now, like, I think that's a lot of, like, just even thinking all back with all of Bray Wyatt's main roster stuff. It starts off strong, and then for some reason it just trails off to
nothing.
Nothing ever follows up with it. I mean, yeah, I guess they're fighting with the other spooky evil action with the Final Testament there and Karrion Kross, and
oh my god, I forgot about Karrion Kross. I think everyone's forgotten about Karrion Kross, to be honest.
Yes.
But yeah, the Invisible Man is declared for the Royal Rumble, and I think he is going to probably win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, you're almost thinking that too, but there's so many other. Cause I mean, he's being advertised here in Canada for Elimination Chamber, as well as being the last time you'll see John Cena in Canada. I'm like, but we've never been able to see him.
No one's been able to see John Cena. How would that be the last time? It would be the first time you'd be able to see him.
The first time, yeah. So it all depends too, like what they're.
Your country, man. I don't even. Well, next week on Raw, we're gonna have the final of the Intercontinental Women's Championship. between Dakota Kai and Lyra Valkyria, which I think will probably be a good match, I think.
I'm looking forward to it for sure. Kind of like even when we had the Women's United States Champion final there, like I can argue for either one being the first. But I'd really like Dakota to win because I have yet to see her have any. She was one of my favorites in the old black and gold NXT, and I felt that she kind of got a bit of a bum rush sometimes of her injuries and stuff. And so here she is. Be a good, nice redemption for her.
Okay, Sheamus against Ludwig Kaiser.
It should be an interesting, tough-hitting banger of an affair.
Then we got Chad Gable against the mystery luchador that Adam Pearce has booked, which, let's be honest, they should have had a giant neon sign that said Penta's debuting next week. I'm going to be very excited to see him next week.
Yes.
And then maybe down the road, we'll see Ray Phoenix join him once he finally escapes Tony's grip.
Yeah. And hopefully by then he isn't just thrown into the LWO or Legado del Fantasma.
God. And then we mentioned Damian Priest and Finn Balor are going to have that street fight. So that's going to be very, very great. And then, oh wait, Michael Cole reiterated that this is the highest grossing arena show in WWE history. Isn't mostly every big event like the highest grossing arena show in WWE history at this point?
At this point, you know what? I think so, because how would you imagine, like, even with the ticket prices are probably astronomical. Especially in something like in LA there, and that new facility like the Intuit Dome, and it's kind of a weird flex, but okay, I guess.
Okay. The main event of the first Netflix Raw, Seth Rollins against CM Punk. And this was, Dane, I don't know if you know this, CM Punk's first match on Monday Night Raw in 4,004 days since January 20th, 2014. Do you know who he beat on that episode of Raw?
I don't recall.
You will never guess this in a million years. Billy Gunn.
I forgot about Billy Gunn being.
Yeah, because remember him and Road Dogg won the titles. Remember?
Oh, fuck.
I think they beat Cody and Dustin for the belts.
I think so. Yes. Now that you mention it.
But this was a very good match. I'm not gonna lie. It was very exciting, and yeah, CM Punk got the win, and I think this has got to be the end of the feud, right?
Yes and no. I see it being the end for now, but I can see it picking up again because I don't really see Rollins being the type to just, I lost one.
Yeah, I don't think that's Seth Rollins at all in this character to let things go. But what did you think of it? Because I mean, there wasn't much wrestling. There was a lot of hype though, but it was like,
it reminded me a lot of pretty much like almost some of those old Attitude Era Raws where it's maybe it was very light on the actual wrestling, but then it was heavy on all the promos and backstage stuff, and I think it was trying to, and I think it did succeed in that regard, is appeal to try a broad swipe of fans. I mean, you got like thinking back like to the opening video montage segment there with Triple H there talking.
Oh, with the paintings and everything?
Paintings, yeah. Like you're trying to recapture the attention of lapsed fans from 20, 30, 40 years ago. And then you got modern fans, and you got people might be checking you out for the first time here on Netflix. And it's
a good good mix you're trying to get. You're trying to get the Laps fans. You're going to get the hardcore fans. You're trying to get everyone together. I saw somebody online said, I haven't watched Raw in 25 years, and I was watching the first Raw on Netflix. So,
yeah,
I guess it worked.
It worked. Now the trick is to keep it working for as long as they have the deal here with Netflix.
Yeah, that's going to be a tricky one. I don't know how long people on Netflix are going to be sticking around to listen to Pat McAfee on color commentary every Monday night until, thankfully, he gets
hopefully
till College Game Day picks up again, and then he has to go away for a couple months.
Yeah.
You know what? I no joke. I listened to the Spanish announcing instead. And it was much more entertaining. The Spanish announcers really got into everything.
Oh God, yeah. It's like, I think one time I remembered watching there's a clip on YouTube. Someone had the uploaded I think it was probably the main event from like Super Astros, like that old half-hour show that they had. I think they had, and the one match they had. I know. Oh yes, I think it was El Hijo del Santo and someone else was partnering up, and they were facing Taka Michinoku and Papi Chulo, and just to hear the Spanish, like it was a Spanish speak too, so it was all the Carlos Cabrera and Hugo Sanovich, I guess, on the commentary, and just to hear them excited and just.
Hugo ruled. Do you remember the chair shot Hugo got at WrestleMania 19?
Kind of remember it, but
it was in the Hogan McMahon match. You can find it on YouTube. It's the sickest chair shot you'll ever see in your life. And also, we had NXT the next night at it wasn't at the Shrine Auditorium, but it was like near the Shrine, I think.
Oh, I don't know. They kept insisting it was in the Shrine, but I don't know what's the.
What they were doing with that, but it was somewhere near there. But
yeah, but it looked impressive regardless. I mean, that's one thing I always liked about with NXT, that they always seem to find, like even now that's improved now with Lee Fitting now instead of having old Bucky Beaver, Kevin Dunn in charge of production stuff. It's such a different look now to everything.
Yeah, we traded one pervert for another pervert on television production. It was a real monkey's paw situation.
Yeah.
Oh, Lee Fitting. Oh my God. It's like the whole Don Mattingly thing with the sideburns. I still like him better than Steinbrenner. It's like I still like him better than Dunn.
Yeah.
But then I think what was it on the show? Like The Rock was there.
The Rock did a muted promo because that's what I guess that happens on networks. I guess.
Yeah, he likes to curse a lot.
So that was that was main event segments, I guess, to close out the show. But the fact that the first hour was devoted to the women's division was amazing. You had Julia versus Roxanne too, and that was as good as you were going to get is expected from those two. And you got to think that Roxanne is also on her way to main roster here soon. But there again, it's like, wonder what she's going to be up to. And then you had Stephanie Vacquer winning the fatal 4-way there to become number one contender for the women's North American. And she is my absolute favorite right now.
Oh man. When I first saw her, like when she did the match at Forbidden Door, I'm like, oh, this woman's awesome.
Yeah. Like she's just phenomenal. Like even like she's almost I would say that she's almost main roster ready, but I think she's got to be just down there just to maybe work on her promo skills and maybe just softening up a bit more so that she knows how to work the WWE style. But she's got it. But like even like I think her very first match there, I think was I think with Ren Sinclair there, I think was her first match. Just like all of a sudden, like how she just, it was just like a phenomenal get the new star over kind of match, and even Ren Sinclair is like one of my dark horse favorites in the division. And then you had the big 6-woman tag match there with Toxic Attraction 2.0 versus Shotzi and Friends, and Shotzi surprisingly getting the pin over the current champion, which in Fallon Henley there is the women's North American champion, and which was kind of a shock, because that's good. I'm glad to see Shotzi's back there and after her injury there, and hopefully getting some rehabilitation as well too. Because I think it was a couple of years ago that the Money in the Bank where she kind of blew some spots and the fans were just vicious to her online, and she just deactivated. Like, but of course we all know that Twitter's a cesspool, so it's not surprising. And,
oh, dude, I knew Twitter was successful like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I was the first on the train of Twitter sucks. Everyone should delete it long before it was cool. Oh, hold on a second. Before I mention something, Dane, before we continue, I have the TNA Fast channel on Plex, and it's showing like a random match from like 2015. And Eli Drake / LA Knight took a giant bottle of Heineken and just drank it. Yeah. And he just got super kicked and spit out the beer by James Storm. That's awesome. Yeah, God bless the TNA Fast channel. There's a lot of good stuff on that channel.
I'll have to check that out once I get.
Yeah. What kind of fast services do you have? Do you have like Pluto TV there? Do you have like Plex?
No, we don't have Flex. We don't have.
You want Pluto?
Yeah, we got Pluto, but I think even Pluto is kind of a weird. Like, it's Canadianized.
Oh. Prime Video, I guess. Yeah, Prime Video.
We do have Prime Video because I also see like we get the, but you have to be a Prime subscribe. You have to be a Prime Video subscribe. Amazon Prime.
I think we mentioned on the chat like the Thursday night football games that we get here on Prime. You get on TSN.
Yeah, we get that. Yeah, but then also Prime Video as well. Now this year they're starting to show NHL hockey games on Monday nights now too, that are just exclusively on Prime. Like, they're not simulcast later on.
I forget
Project
now.
Sportsnet or whatever. So
I forget Prime now as NHL.
Yeah,
but I guess they got to get used to it because Prime like next year is going to have the NBA because they're going to get that portion from WB. While inside the NBA becomes the pregame show for ESPN, which makes no sense that frickin' TNT is going to be using their pregame show because they don't have the NBA anymore on ESPN because ESPN's NBA pregame show absolutely blows.
It's crazy.
I don't know what an equivalent of that would be to describe how bad the ESPN pregame show is. It's like whenever you watch it for the NBA, it's like, do you remember that? Have you ever seen that clip of New Japan of like Antonio Inoki interrupting a Luke Gallows match trying to end it?
I think so. Yes, I remember seeing that clip. Yes.
That's how it feels like whenever I watch freaking the ESPN NBA pregame show. I have to see like that jackass Mike Greenberg and everybody. I'm like, I want to ring a bell just running in and saying, no, end this shit now.
End it now.
So we got Saturday night's main event coming up. The second Saturday night's main event. Last month, we had it in Nassau Coliseum, where the first Saturday night's main event was. And I was probably considering maybe trying to convince someone to take the drive and go out to Nassau to watch it live, but I was like, no, I'd much rather watch it on TV instead. As certain things happened, I thought, it would be better to watch it on TV. And it was very fun to watch it on TV. It was great to see Jesse back.
Yeah, that's. I'm. Hopefully he sticks around. If they're gonna keep trying to show the Orange Goblin's his beer there.
Oh, that would be so hilarious to see Jesse in the next show shoot on the beer. That'd be hilarious. I do like the fact that they paired him up with like Tessitore on the
on that podium there. That was
kind of reminiscent of back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah.
Cool. Kind of cool. And I guess Joe Tessitore, he has been a really great addition to WWE.
Yes, I know the first episode, like first time he was on that, he kind of showed his inexperience, but he's growing on me. Like given the last few years of them trying different people in that position, I mean, Jimmy Smith was all right, but then when we had the hilarious 2-week career of Arthur O'Cal on the main play-by-play on Raw.
Oh God, yeah. That was like the last time I think they used like a real sports personality on Monday Night Raw until they got Tessitore. And have you ever like heard Tessitore prior to this?
He sounded familiar. I know that a lot of people said there was like a golf show on golf thing called Holy Moly, I guess on
ABC, yes.
ABC, yes. That
he did with Rob Riggle, but he also did Friday Night Fights here for ESPN.
Okay.
And also he's like one of the he's like either the number 2 or number 3 announcer for ESPN for college football. Because number 1 is obviously for play-by-play is Chris Fowler, and I'd say like it's either him or Sean McDonough as like the number 2 guy on college football. And he's usually, I want to say he's usually paired up with Jesse Palmer from The Bachelor. Is The Bachelor big over there?
It's big enough that we have our own version of it, The Bachelor Canada.
That's great.
Yeah. And it's big enough that that's your kind of thing there, but I'm not really into
I don't blame you.
Contrived reality relationship competitions like that, so.
All right, so now let's get into the Rumble. So, okay, we're thinking it's going to be Cena and Becky as the 2 winners.
Yeah.
And
I'm also got my other dark horse pick for returning people for the women's. I got because we know she's going to have to be center of the attention again. Oh, Charlotte Flair.
Oh yeah, she's been gone for a while.
Yeah, she's been. I don't know if she's there again. If she's got, I know last time she left it was like a knee injury or something, and whether it's now more rehabbing the knee or more trying to look more feminine post surgery stuff now, recovery, or who knows? But
her husband's back there. Well, her husband's now back there, so.
Oh yeah, on Andre's back there now too, and hopefully knock on wood there too. Good old Malachi Black also is coming back there too with the Lena, so as he's apparently taking himself out of AEW now, so.
Oh man,
scuttlebutt, but.
Oh, how will AEW survive without Malachi Black? Oh, man.
Yes, how will they do without... What will the House of Black do without him? Even though I think the only other person that's relevant in that group is Julia Hart, and I think that's...
Says more about Julia Hart than the House of Black.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so... Cody and Kevin are going to face for the title, right?
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be Cody retaining. Unless they do like some shocker, which I doubt.
Yeah. But I guess that's Kevin Owens' MO, I guess. This is about his 5th or 6th title match at a Rumble itself. That's, mind you, half of them are against Roman Reigns, but still, that seems to be a good thing for Kevin Owens. Won a title shot, challenge at the Rumble.
I still remember the pandemic Royal Rumble at the Trop against Roman. I remember that being a pretty good match.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think that was the where we had the golf cart spots here too. Cart spots. Yeah.
Yep. That was Thunderdome era.
Yes.
Thank God those days are behind us.
Yeah.
The Zoom walls and everything.
Yeah, the Zoom walls and they were very. That's even. I don't know what was more distracting, the fact that they had the Zoom walls, or even just because it gives the illusion of like, when you think about it, like a live audience crowd isn't as distracting as like a few hundred video screens of different people just making whatever faces, and then finding the odd troll there that will have like a Benoit for Hall of Fame sign or whatever on there.
Oh, they clearly did not do any quality control for that. I think one guy even had Benoit as like this screen for the Zoom wall. It's like, oh God, you guys aren't even trying. But now we're going to be approaching WrestleMania. So we got WrestleMania in Vegas. It's going to be Easter weekend, which normally it's the weekend of the Final Four, but now it's moved to the 3rd week of April.
Which is weird. That it just seems all the timings of the PLEs are now just really off.
Guessing that's a factor of Vince no longer being there.
I guess so, yeah. Also there's also, I kept hearing, like, once they had the merger of TKO and then UFC, they're trying to not have them run so close to their shows, I guess, and that they keep talking about maybe moving them back to Sundays. But I kind of like the Saturday ones better, because Sundays just seem like it's beginning of the week, it's putting you in a rush and stuff, and you don't want to spend 3-4 hours watching something just at 6 o'clock, starting at 6 at night and ending at 10. By the time if you got to listen into some of the post-match stuff, and so yeah, I've been kind of digging the Saturday times now, but see what happens, I guess.
Well, I also think the Saturdays are so they don't have to compete against Sunday Night Football. That's probably like a main thing is why they put them on Saturdays now. Because like Sunday Night Football gets like such big ratings, it's like no one else is going to watch anything on a Sunday night.
Well, yeah, especially now. Well, yeah, now that especially with giving up the pay-per-view aspect of it now and just premium live event, just the streaming part is just having the unique viewership at this time, and then the watch afterwards, I guess, that's where to get things going, I guess.
And then what else do we have to look forward to this year? SummerSlam's going to be here at MetLife in August. I'm kind of considering going
and that's going to be a 2-day one, isn't it?
It's a 2-day one because I think next year Minneapolis is getting it, and that's going to be 2 nights.
Yeah.
So that's going to be...
And then we also got the whole I guess Road to WrestleMania Europe tour there, that they're going to have all the major TV shows actually broadcasting in Europe, and that's going to be interesting, especially now with the Netflix deal with them saying it's going to be live from wherever they're showing it from. So getting up at 2 a.m. to watch Raw from England or something like that. I don't know.
And I think All In for AEW is going to be in Texas this year, sometime in the summer. Which
Yeah.
I don't get why they decided of all places. For some reason they couldn't use Wembley Stadium. I'm guessing because they thought WWE was going to get a Mania in London.
Yeah.
So they thought it was going to be like a bad optics. So they decided, what could we get? Okay, let's get the Texas Rangers Stadium. Okay, that's good enough, I guess.
And that's going to be an interesting, because I'm almost having visions of the dying days of Fritz von Erich's old WCCW territory there, just when they tried to run the Texas Stadium there for all the. They were able to get 45,000 in Texas Stadium for Flair versus Kerry Von Erich, and then just dwindling returns after that. So I'm having premonitions of that, because I mean, already. You also have AEW Grand Slam happening in Australia, where they already had to.
Yeah, they had to move it because it was like, I'm guessing the place they were going to have it in, the tennis stadium, was like, it made no sense to have it because that's where nobody visits that town in the time of year.
Yeah.
Which, real smart booking there, Tony. No wonder the Jaguars are ass.
Is there anything of Tony's that or the cons that own that? I mean, I know the Jaguars they're crap. AEW is kind of
Mid.
Like, how's their football team doing over there in?
Oh,
England?
let me just look. They're usually middle of the road to relegated to the EFL Championship. Let me just see. Premier. Damn it. Premier. If I can get it on the Google search. Premier League standings. They are at 9th place. Well, I'll tell you this. There's no Wrexham AFC. They don't have that Ryan Reynolds tequila money.
No.
Or that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia syndication money.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's going to be definitely not going to be a boring year for sure. It's going to be, especially the first 4 months, it's going to be the interesting parts, because it's the more exciting part there with WWE there, and then just see how things go from there, I guess, is going to be.
All right. Well, Dane, I want to thank you for this chat about the wrestling, and hopefully we can do this again, because I had a lot of fun doing this.
Oh yeah, so did I. Like, this is. I hope this becomes. Hopefully, this would be a good regular feature, I think.
Yeah, I think maybe we should do it for because I mean, I don't know if you listen on the Place to Be Nation wrestling feed, but I'm doing like a kind of live watch show with Scott Criscola, where it's called Wrestle Tracks, where we go over a wrestling show as we're watching it live, and then we talk about what was going on in the pop culture around the time of the pay-per-view or show, whatever. But I kind of would like to talk about just a straight up recap of like an old pay-per-view or whatever. Like, I watched the TNA Fast Channel on like Pluto or Plex, and I'm like watching like random like TNA Hard Justice 2005 with Jeff Jarrett and AJ Styles and Tito Ortiz as the special guest ref. That was a good show, I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, yeah. I mean,
and the Joe Angle matches from like 06, 07.
Yeah, that was. I think that to me was peak TNA, was Joe Angle and the Main Event Mafia, and it just all kind of went downhill after with all the
Vince Russo stuff.
And then Hogan and Bischoff, and then the whole Aces and Eights crap, and ugh.
But you know what? We can all agree. Paparazzi Championship Series by Kevin Nash is the greatest thing ever produced.
Yo, fuck yeah, that was him and Alex Shelley. There, they were perfectly. They were like perfect foils for each other. Like it was just one of those lightning in the bottle things that was just fantastic. So I still love the fact of Kevin Nash bragging about putting almost 30,000 people in Madison Square Garden at one night, just for the one night only.
Just for one night. Well, technically, if you have like the Garden and you have the theater at Madison Square Garden below, I guess you could say he drew 30,000 people.
But yeah, the paparazzi, yeah, because that gave us I think out of that we got Jay Lethal as doing the Macho Man stuff, and then Shark Boy doing Stone Cold, and
oh, let's not forget the epic Jay Lethal Ric Flair promo war.
Yes, I think that was the other woo off because I know.
Oh, everything about that was great.
Yeah.
All right. So, in closing, Wrestling 2025 should be very fun. So, Dane, thank you for attending tonight's episode here on It Was a Thing on TV Presents.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Greg. And yeah, like I said, feel free to have me back for this, or if you ever decide to do a Canadian content special on the main show, feel free to tickle my brain there too.
Oh yeah, we got to do the CanCon content, like on the new Liars Club. I'll be the Shoddy LaRue, and you can be the John Barber. Well, until then, we'll see you next time right here. And It Was a Thing on TV.
Wow! And Daphne, you must now go down to the ring and perform a striptease here tonight. Daphne, no. You must do this. You signed the deal, you agreed to this, and I've been informed by TNA management if this doesn't happen, you will be fired on the spot. Daphne, you must now go to the ring and perform a striptease. Hit the music, maestro!
Oh my God, Mike, you ever see a zombie strip?
What do you think, Taz? Zombie hot Daphne?
Well, I think the music's kind of funky. But yeah, I don't think
Doesn't
that
look like she really has her heart in it, does it?
And Angelina Love's a new knockout champion. That's huge in itself. Right now, Daphne's got to perform this striptease. She's got the little person hat on her head that she gets from Indonesia. I wonder if she's going to keep that on while she disrobes. She don't really have that slanky walk, that swagger that you see some of the young ladies have in the adult establishments that people attend.
Yeah, entertainment
right.
establishments.
This is really doing it for me, I'll tell you.
That is the definition of zombie hot. All righty then. There you got your wish with the hat from, where was that from again?
Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd we get this music? That's what I want to know. What is this? You know? Well, Daphne, yeah, this isn't really her style. She's more into, like, taking a chunk out of someone's ankle. I mean, a bite.
It's almost as if it pains her. Not much of a reveal there.
No, it's a great deltoid. She's got some, she had like a scar or something. I don't know what she's got going on. She's got all that ink.